Hey guys, welcome back to Hooks Nation. Today we're going to be removing the whole top end off of a Polaris 440 fan motor. You're going to use the same procedures I'm showing you here today for the 488 fan. First, I'm going to remove both spark plug caps. This motor is already out of the sled, and I'd recommend taking it out of the sled to do this. I also pulled the primary clutch off of it. You're going to want to remove 4 bolts off the top cover of the motor. They are size 12. I'm just removing the cylinders, not splitting the cases. I'll put them on my little magnetic plate so I don't lose them. And there's going to be 6 more bolts going around, and they're size 10. Yes, you do have to remove these side ones. I like using these magnetic plates because you can lose bolts by just setting them down on the ground and stuff, and with these plates it's pretty handy. You can't lose them. The cover should pop right off. Set it off to the side. Now you're going to have to remove the Y pipe. There's 4 bolts. And then there's a bolt right here, and that will make the front cover come off. And then for the back cover, there's some Allen keys, and there's 4 of them. And you have to remove those, which will remove the car boots here. And that will make this back piece come off. And there's 1 more bolt down here, that's size 10. Okay, here I'm showing you the Y pipe, and I'm showing you the nuts that you have to remove off of the studs. This will make the Y pipe come off. I'm using a 13mm socket. Remove the top one. You can do this in any order, it does not matter. But be careful because there's gaskets behind here for the exhaust, and you don't want to wreck those, so you can be careful when taking off the Y pipe. These are soft nuts, like made out of a brass material, so they're designed so that if you over tighten them on the studs, you will not strip the studs, you'll just strip the nut. You might need an extension for this top one because it's in a pretty weird place. These all have lock washers on the back of them. Collect those and put them in your magnetic plate, or whatever else you're using. Here's another one. Now, yours should come off easy, but mine's jammed on there pretty good, so I'm going to take that off. Now you have the Y pipe removed, so you can set it off to the side. You can see, here's one of those gaskets, and here's the other. And there will be 2 more on the back side of this plate. Okay, now I'm back to the side of the motor, the PTO side, and there's 1 more bolt, and this is the only bolt you'll have to remove now to remove the front cover. I'm using a size 10 socket. that in your plate. Now the cover pulls right off. You can set that off to the side. And now you have 2 more exhaust gaskets. You can replace these because when you don't replace them and they get old, it'll make your whole motor and stuff get really greasy. I have this one pretty cleaned up. Okay, now you're going to have to remove these 2 Allen key bolts. I'm using a size 6 Allen key socket on an extension, and you just loosen them off. When these come out, the card boot should come off, and then behind that you'll have a gasket, and then you'll have tin. Behind the tin there'll be another gasket, and that will be right in front of the intake port on the cylinder. So there's one on this side of the tin and one on the other side of the tin, and those are important because those are like, they're gaskets. It's what you need. So when you've removed these, you do the same over here, and then remove this bolt, and then this whole front piece should come off. Okay, now I've removed these 2 and these 2 Allen key bolts, and now I have to remove this one bolt, size 10mm. Now this whole plate should come off. The gaskets are stuck to here, but sometimes they could even be stuck to the port right there on the cylinder. Once you have that cover removed, you can now take off these lines going to the cylinders and the oil pump. They're what gives your fuel its mix. So these little clips, you can squeeze them with your fingers or pliers if you want, and you can take them off of either the cylinder part right here or down here at the oil pump. I prefer taking them off of the oil pump, so you can finger them off right there, finger squish them, and then these are usually on here really good, really tight, because these motors are old and stuff, so you can pull them off. I already have mine off right there, but they're going to be really hard, so you're going to have to put a little bit of muscle into it, and then you should be good. I am now going to remove one of these 8 nuts holding on the cylinders to the base. So there's going to be 4 on each cylinder, and you're going to see them coming out of the bottom end, and they'll come right here, and all you have to do is use a 14mm wrench, and then twist them off, and they're regular thread, and you can either use this side or this side. So I'm going to take this one off and show you. They shouldn't be very tight, so you don't have to be worried. I have not touched that one since I took it off the motor, and this is an old motor, so you can see that was not very hard for me. So now it's your turn. Once you've got all 8 of these nuts loosened, you can finger unscrew them off. And once you get them all off, now your cylinders should come off. You do not have to remove the heads or the spark plug. It should just slide right off. I'd recommend getting some paper towel ready to put underneath beside the connecting rod so that nothing dirty or any parts can fall into your bottom end. Your pistons will slide right out and just hang there. So that's what you're going to have to do. So now that I have all the nuts off, all 8 of them, I can remove the cylinders. These cylinders, some of them are on here pretty good, so you'll have to use a rubber mallet or a rubber hammer or anything, maybe even a 2x4 with a regular hammer, just to break them free of their gasket surface. And they'll usually be on there really good, especially if you have a good gasket. I do only recommend using a 14mm wrench, not a 9/16, because I find with the 9/16 wrench you can actually round off the nuts, and well, you don't want that to happen, obviously. So now I'm going to show you. I have not hit these yet. I just took off the nuts. A couple hits with the rubber mallet. Now you can see the cylinder's pretty free. So you better remove your oil line, which I showed you before, and now you can pull straight up, and this is the same procedure with the other cylinder. You have now successfully removed your cylinder. Now I'm going to take my pieces of paper towel, put them underneath the piston, and set them in there. Don't get them too deep in there because you don't want to get anything caught. And make sure that nobody spins the crankshaft when it's sitting here, because you could accidentally suck some up, or you could spin something around that you don't want in there. So that's my advice. Now I'm going to show you how I remove the piston. You'll take a small flathead screwdriver and you'll see a spot for, you can take off either one of the C-clips, circlips, whatever you want to call them. Take off one, and then when you have it removed, you can take, here's an extension for a 3/8 ratchet, and you can set it on the side where you haven't removed the circlip yet, and you can beat it through with a hammer or whatever you want lightly, and it will slowly bring out that piece in the middle, so then the piston will come off. But watch out, because there's some bearings in there and you don't want to lose them or knock them out. So I'll show you how right now. Flathead screwdriver, push it in there. These circlips, C-clips, will fly out if you don't put your hand over top of them, and that's why I recommend the paper towel, because they could fall into the bottom end. So cover them with your hand so you don't lose an eye. You could wear safety glasses when doing this, and maybe get a friend to watch if they fly out and go somewhere. But if you cover it with your hand, you should be good. I got underneath it, so now I'm going to work my way around with the screwdriver to pop it out. Try not to damage the piston because they're made of soft metal and they're easy to break. It hopped back in there, so now I'm going to try again. As you can see, this can take some time. There, I just popped it out. I'll put it off to the side. Make sure you put it in a different pile because they are small and you could lose them. So put them somewhere where you're not going to lose them. Now I'm taking my extension and I'm setting it on the other side. And there it went in. So now I'm going to take my rubber mallet and make sure you don't hit this too hard, because you could bend something, and if it doesn't come out, you could use other ways. Lightly hitting it. Now I pushed it all the way through, almost. Keep hitting it. I have removed it. I'll set that off to the side with the circlip. Pull out my extension. Seems to be caught. Pull the piston straight up. Put it out of the way. Now you can put a twist tie through here, through the bearing, and over top of the connecting rod so your bearings don't fall out. So I'll just do that next. I'll take a small twist tie, a big twist tie, it really doesn't matter. as long as it can hold it in place. So you can slide it through, bend it up. Make sure you don't accidentally knock out the bearing when you're doing this. Now tighten it down carefully. Doesn't have to be super tight, just tight enough. There. Now to get this long piece out of the way, you can cut it. Now your bearings aren't going to fall out. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing I just showed you to remove this piston, and when I'm back I'll show you my finished product. Another trick to getting the circlip or C-clip out, you can get just a tip of it out using your flathead screwdriver. I get the end of it just enough out of the piston hole here so that you can grab it with a pair of pliers or anything else that you want to use and rotate it the direction that it's facing, the point, and then it could slide right out easily, and that's another way. So I recommend that way also because it's harder to bend up the circlip that way. So now I've removed both pistons and kept the bearings in, and now if you're just switching your top end, you're gonna probably want to put new gasket here on for both of them, or whichever one you're doing. I like to do both at the same time. And you want to check for play in your crank. So here's my connecting rod, and I'm gonna wiggle it up and down, and it can usually move side to side a little bit, like probably a millimeter or so, and that's not that bad. But if there's any up and down play, up and down here, that's no good. That means that you got a pooch crank. This one doesn't seem to be very bad, so this would be a bottom end I'd like to use on another motor or rebuild. Thanks for watching Hooks Nation's top end removal for Polaris 440 or 488 fan motors. Subscribe for more, and Hooks!